Hi, I'm Mick Hollison, and today I'll be speaking with Paul Codding. Paul is the SVP and Head of Product for Semaphore.ai. He's also a co-founder. And today I'll be speaking with Paul about enterprise AI agent adoption. What are some of the obstacles and challenges that enterprises face, and how can the Semaphore.ai platform uniquely solve for those? Paul, you and I have been at this enterprise software game for a pretty long time now, and I think it's fair to say we've both had our bumps, bruises, and maybe even earned a few merit badges along the way. But there's a new kid in town, and it's AI agents, and the hype level is off the charts. And according to some of the world's most prominent hypesters, if I can invent a term, agents are going to run multi-billion-dollar enterprises with a couple of interns, a few goats, and a donkey. But what's the real? What are some of the real-world challenges with AI agents in the enterprise? And how does the Semaphore.ai platform in particular help to solve for them, Paul?
Yeah, well, Mick, appreciate you dropping me right into the deep end of that.
You're welcome.
I think first, let me say that you're totally accurate. I think the hype around AI agents is at an all-time high, but I do think it's for good reason. I think what we're seeing is the potential for business impact and change and value that AI agents has in enterprise. It's almost like limitless, but there's a lot of different, I would say, serious obstacles to overcome. And I think the first is access to enterprise data. In order for agents to make really high quality decisions, they need access to all of your enterprise data. And that could be structured data coming from Snowflake. It could be unstructured data coming from things like PDFs, invoices, payment remittance. And a lot of organizations that we work with, they really struggle with having this information in multiple different data silos or needing to actually have to move that data to make it available to agents. Number two is just the complexity to integrate agents with the rest of your existing enterprise legacy systems. So many enterprises have a litany of different, custom applications that only exist, within their four walls. And so it's really important to be able to have a streamlined, easy way to be able to connect agents directly to those enterprise apps. The third, I would say, is maybe like reliability and consistency would be the topic. I think a lot of agents can still produce inconsistent results or hallucinate, incorrect info, but really ensuring that you have reliability, determinism, especially for critical work, that's a key concern. And I think building and deploying and maintaining these AI agents often proves to be one of the hardest parts after people get initial success with one or two agents. And the last would be the broader kind of topic of like security and governance. As agents become more autonomous and they have more responsibility, to do higher impact tasks, and they have access to sensitive information, systems, making sure you have really robust security measures, dealing with things like ethical considerations, clear governance, guardrails, it's really, really crucial.
So here's the deal. At Semaphore, we aren't big on hype, but we are big on trust. And that's why we built the industry's first framework that we call SAFE for enterprise AI agents. So Paul, could you maybe do me a favor and break down what exactly we mean when we say SAFE?
Yeah, by SAFE, we mean four things. The first is secure and governed. In our platform, all agents run entirely within your cloud environment. That could be Snowflake or it could be your AWS account, but you have full control over the environment in which the agent runs. Number two is it reuses all the different security protocols and permissions that you already have within your environment, and we natively integrate with your SSO and your RBAC or role-based access control solution. The second is accurate and explainable. And by this, we mean you have direct zero copy access to all of your data. That makes sure that agents work with the most current information, and you don't have to build new data silos or move your data to your agents. You can also see the work that they're doing, how they reason and make decisions. So it makes it really easy for you to kind of trust but verify the work that the agents are doing. The third is fast and easy. So we make it really simple to be able to build and deploy agents in just a few minutes using our natural language runbooks. We have one-click deployment to things like Snowflake and AWS, and we have a whole host of pre-built actions for common enterprise applications to make sure that you can get started quickly in building agents that can perform real work. The last is extensible and integrated. And by that we mean you have the tools that you need to be able to integrate agents within your ecosystem. We have a SDK that makes it really simple to be able to build integrations to all those different custom enterprise applications that you may have. We also are announcing built-in support for MCP. This allows you to be able to connect to a whole growing ecosystem of integrations to common applications. And we give you the ability to kind of leverage Python throughout our platform so that you can build all the different automation that you need using code-first deployment methodology.
Got it. Listen, that's cool. So I get it. Semaphore.ai agents are safe. But, Paul, we started out this conversation talking about some of the challenges of enterprise deployments. So what is it exactly that makes, your agents easier to deploy than anybody else's? I mean, sure, security and governance that you just talked about, they're table stakes. But how does your platform make it easier to go from cool idea to an enterprise production environment more easily than anybody else's?
Yeah, no, great question, Mick. I think it's really three things. Number one is we really help with building the agent itself. So we have Studio, which is a fully local development environment that installs in your Windows or Mac, laptop. It allows you to be able to build agents just using natural language, using our runbooks. And we have Sai, which is our built-in AI, to really help you get from the problem statement that you have to a fully functional agent in just a few minutes. It does all the work for you as far as breaking down what's the problem that you want to solve, helping you write your runbook, selecting the right set of actions to be able to connect to the applications and data that you need. And that whole environment just runs directly locally on your laptop. So we want to make it really easy for you to go from problem statement to a functional agent. The next is, how do you actually run that agent? Where does it run? Where can you deploy it? And that's where kind of three things are important. Number one are actions that allow you to connect to not only different enterprise applications, but also databases and the whole kind of data ecosystem that you might have within your enterprise. Things like Microsoft SQL Server, Postgres, MySQL, and Snowflake and Redshift, right? Those are all built into our platform so that you have zero copy access to your data, so you don't have to move it. And the last is, how do you actually share that agent with the rest of your business teams? And for that, we have a product called Workroom. And this is where you can deploy agents, directly to different business units. They have one place that they can go to discover what agents they have access to, discover, use, and supervise the work that the agents are doing. And then the last thing is manage. So how do we make sure that you have the security and governance envelope around that entire deployment? And for that, we have Control Room. So Control Room is where you define what are all the different agents you want to be able to deploy within your environment. You have full lifecycle management. You can upgrade, you can downgrade. You have all the different observability tools that you need to be able to plug those agents directly into your existing enterprise ecosystem. And it gives you kind of like the one-stop shop to make sure that you have secure and governed agents that are deployed to the right people at the right time with the right version.
That's awesome, Paul. So let me unpack a couple of those with you here real quickly. So it sounds to me like the idea behind Control Room is, full lifecycle management of the agent. Can you describe what that looks like a little bit more to people and unpack that idea of Control Room a little bit more for us?
Yeah, of course. Yep. So, like I mentioned, Studio is where you actually build your agent and test and validate it locally. But as soon as you're ready to actually deploy that, from Studio, you can just click the deploy button. It goes right into Control Room. And so Control Room really helps you with three things. One is it has a organization-wide gallery of all the different agents that have been published, right? And then it also helps you kind of break out what are the different workspaces, different areas that you want to be able to create. It could be per business unit or it could be per lifecycle stage. And that allows you to identify, what are the right deployments, for that agent. Should I share it with my HR team? It's in staging or sandbox. It allows you to deploy it to the right people at the right time. And then the last thing it does is really help you with kind of what's that end-to-end life cycle of that agent. How do you know that it's healthy? How do you have good observability around it? How do you understand what is the right version that should be deployed? And it helps you with all of that as far as upgrading and downgrading agents as your business teams want to roll out changes. And it's all completely integrated with your enterprise single sign-on. So we try to make it as easy as possible to manage the entire lifecycle of agents from deploying it to ongoing maintenance and management in one space.
Got it. Fantastic. Well, one last thing just to kind of dig into a little bit. You mentioned Studio earlier and in the way that works. How is AI itself really utilized inside of Studio and your run books in order to sort of automate that process, get people past that blank canvas problem that they may have for a run book?
Yeah, great question. I think one of the things people like a lot about our platform is that natural language expression of the work that the agent needs to do, right? Those are our run books. And they help the people who know the data, they know the work the best to be able to really quickly express, hey, this is what I need my agent to actually accomplish. But a lot of the times, we've all been there. You open up Microsoft Word or Google, and you got a blank sheet of paper. You're like, great, now what? We wanted to make it really easy to kind of get past that blank sheet type of problem. And so, where we use AI in the product is through Sai. It's our built-in AI, and that allows you to really quickly say, hey, like this is the contours of what I want to accomplish with my agent. And Sai will kind of ask back and forth questions to clarify the business process, the data you need access to, the enterprise systems that you're going to actually interact with. And then it will help you build out all the different sections that your runbook needs to have based on that business context. It'll also help pick out the right actions that you need and really kind of get you off the ground running as fast as possible. And so that's, one of the, I would say, best examples of how we use AI in the platform. And it really is to solve that blank, sheet, blank canvas type of problem, getting you really quickly into an agent that you can start interacting with and using that works with your business problem.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. That was terrific. You are a veritable encyclopedia of agentic know-how. And in fact, when I buy my first robot, I think I'll call it Paul the Proficient in your honor. So thanks so much for your time today, Paul, and look forward to having many more conversations like this where we unpack some of the technology elements of the Semaphore platform. Thanks again.
Thank you.